Hello, hello, you most amazing stars. Hello, hello, and I am messing with my light. I'm always messing with my light. If you didn't know that, hi, I'm Courtney, host of Stars of the Morning Light. And I'm always messing with things, but today in particular I was because I cleaned my office big time. So, everything gets knocked around. Welcome to Hey You. I am Courtney, host of Stars of the Morning Light, and tonight I am going to ramble a bit. I'm going to tell some personal stories. I'm going to invite everyone to kick back. If you're in your pajamas like I am, relax, enjoy, listen, do you. If you're over across the pond, I hope you're sleeping. I hope you're having beautiful dreams, and we will see each other when the stars of the morning light are singing, and hopefully the sun is shining where you are. Also, because I'm just going to be kind of rambling, rambling Jack over here, because I'm going to be rambling, I might not say hello to everyone in the chat. I normally try to, but I think I need to kind of stay with the flow of where this consciousness goes. This tonight, this live, is going to be about communication in the future because we are living in a whole vastly new experience, right? And I can go into some details about that. I have been talking about it for quite a long time. We are all going to be experiencing new, creating new, thinking new, particularly right now as well. Like the grand amount of awareness that is just funneling through right now, pouring in like waterfalls. Um, is new. It's very new to us, okay? Um, so that also means our communication is new. Our communication is different. And the reason I'm gonna be, talking about, let's talk about how we used to and how I think many are, uh, some experiences over the past bit a while with me to bring home this topic, and then I'll wrap everything up in a nice pretty little bow, right? So, welcome everybody who's in. I appreciate you. And welcome to 2026. Are you all feeling it? Are you all feeling that fast horse, that horse that it blazing, just blazing horse? My husband said, "Yeah, I'm gonna need a blazing saddle to ride this wave." Holy goodness, yeah, we all got to pull the reins back occasionally on the on this horse in 2026. Woo! So blessed be to all of you who have chosen to be here. Thank you. We can do this. We just breathe. We seriously just breathe. Just breathe. And know that you are not alone, right? So, for me personally, over the course of the past definitely 2 years, and there's a lot of reasons and things that happened within those 2 years to come to this final conclusion that I'm presenting tonight. And for those who might not know me, because this will help to understand a little bit, especially if you're into zodiacs. I am technically a Leo sun, Scorpio moon, Scorpio rising. So when I'm going through something or I witness something or anything, really anything, it's my Scorpio that I take it way down deep. I mean, the depths that I go to find the root of what is really going on. And then I usually, yeah, I light that on fire and I rise up like the phoenix. And then the Leo comes and presents it to you. But the rest of the time, it is a very deep, intense Scorpio energy that goes on. And that's what I've been in. And that's why I haven't been here for the past couple of weeks. So I'm going to bring everybody back to July of 2024. I went through intense training with my teacher. I am Kira. She is also here. on YouTube. I am Kira. She's down in Ecuador. I went through intense training with her, and just a little line, a phrase that we continuously used through that training and moving forward was is, I should say, I still use it. I am conscious awareness accelerated. And all the stuff that I went through then with her in July through September, intense training, to be a quantum alchemist and be able to serve others in so many ways. I'm saying that was just a line from that training, but now put that into perspective. Imagine saying that every day. I am conscious awareness accelerated. So that's what I've been going through. And through that, it's been a fascinating journey, and a lot of things have happened. And relating it to communication. So now I'm getting to the meat of the matter. And it'll be in story form, it'll be in past, present, future, what have you. I have always in my life been a very, very, very private person. No one knows my business. Nobody knows my business. Nobody knows what's going on with me. And you could be a close family member, you could be a close friend. It doesn't matter. Nobody knows what's going on. It's just who I am. And now as an adult, as an Akashic record messenger reader for others, well, now everybody really enjoys that because I keep their secrets. I see everything about them, everything that's ever been, all the infinite potentialities that they could take and make their own. I see all that stuff. I see all the trauma. I see all the pain. I see all the whatnot. I don't say anything. Your secrets are safe with me. And it's because I value it, right? I value privacy. I value it to the utmost. But because of certain deaths in the family, interactions with people that think we're close or whatnot, there's been a lot of, okay, I'll share, or they'll say something, and I'll say, that's not what happened at all. That's not what was going on at all. I was actually doing this, or I was in this relationship, or I was over here doing that, or that was a very dark time period, or the and I've been constantly having to correct people for like 2 years now. And it's not their fault. It's not their fault. Why would they know? I'm a private person. But at the same token or time, the other flip of the coin of that is they kinda wanna argue my life. That never happened. Why didn't I know about that? 'Cause for some reason, people take it offensively when they're corrected, right? They take it offensively, and this is gonna be a long let's look at human nature. Let's look at how we have always communicated. They take it offensively. And I don't know if that's because if they I think it's because of people, if they know stuff about you, that is a representation of being close to you. But if you're saying, "No, you don't know anything about me," then that is a representation of you're far and you're distant from me, when that is not actually the case at all. It's not. It depends on each person, right? Case by case basis. So over the course of the past couple of years, I've had to communicate with, more people that I grew up with or what have you. And it's been a lot of that or dismissing, right? So there's another aspect to this. Recently, January, this past January of 2026, I went no contact with who was probably the closest, quote unquote, friend of mine of 30 years. And when it finally happened, everybody's in shock. Nobody knows what's going on. And I just simply said, I don't know why no one understands. I've been saying this for 4 years. It's taken me 4 years to finally do it. I've been saying it for 4 years, and nobody knew what I was talking about. So, are we actually listening? And that's what this is really gonna be about. Are we actually listening? I'm gonna get back to this in just a minute. 2 weeks ago 2 weeks ago, which you guys have not seen me in about 2 weeks. 2 weeks ago, it was a very, very dark moment of very going inward, 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 because for a few years, I often in my head would tell myself, "No one's listening. No one's listening." And then that shifted over time to who's listening? Who's actually listening? Not just to me, but to one another. And this goes into who has eyes to see and ears to hear. And if you read in the Nag Hammadi scriptures, he even emphasizes spiritual eyes, spiritual ears. Who is actually listening? Who's seeing? And so last week it got kind of very intense within myself of seeking that question. Who is actually listening to one another, to me? Do I even stay doing this YouTube aspect? Because if it's not working out here, I'll jump ship and travel elsewhere. I'll go over here, if I'll go over there. If it's not working out on Patreon, I'll go here. I have no problem traveling around to find those who have eyes to see and ears to hear. That is what I'm willing to do. Always hands down. I will always do that. So, but that's a question within oneself and having to go in and really see what's going on. Inward and outward, right? Inward and outward, because that's how this works. So, through that, what Jung would call the dark night of the soul, I had one just a couple weeks ago. I had to get, and it very much was like walking into the wilderness. It was very much in the wilderness. When we read ancient texts and various scriptures, there is oftentimes even stories. You can see it as like a how Joseph Campbell would teach the hero's journey is our journey, and so those times of being in the wilderness. And if you notice in all the stories, that is the moments of doubt. That is the moments of doubt. When are you going to ride that doubt, accept that doubt, be that doubt? Or are you going to overcome the doubt? And that could be for anything. Doubt is the worst. It's the worst of self judgment. It's the worst of judging others. And it's the one that we hyper focus on. And so when I was in that wilderness facing doubt, and it was not doubt of who I am, but it was sincere doubt of who is listening. I'm not sure if anybody is, anywhere, anytime. It was that, right? Where do I need to go? Where are the people that listen? Are there even any more? That kind of doubt. Now, for all of us, we have had that many times, and we have to find our resolve. There has to be a reason that overrides the doubt. You can call it purpose. You can call it what Edgar Casey would say your ideal. What was your ticket to get into this place and what you've been striving for the whole time? Whatever that reason is, it has to outweigh any of the doubt that is in front of you in the wilderness. And sometimes what we're viewing, what we're witnessing, what we're experiencing, what we're hearing, what we're life starts to pile on, and we seem, no, this ideal of mine, this reason of mine, this purpose of mine, hmm, I don't know if I'll get there. I don't know if it'll happen. You gotta find a big reason. You gotta find the core of that reason then. Oftentimes, when we think we're on the road and we're going and we're going and we're going, what stumbles us is whatever blocks might be there, which is gonna happen. You're gonna get a flat tire. My husband just got one tonight. You're gonna get, derailed for good times and bad times, right? You're gonna get derailed. You're gonna experience, and we can say thank you to all of that. But when you get back on the road and it's like, "Oh, this is getting some wilderness. This is getting some dark." Your reason has to outweigh the doubt. So, moving on. That was where I was last week, and I found my reason, and my reason is great. It's gonna keep me going. It's gonna keep my commitment in full force, focused. That's what I'm doing. And once I got to that, it was as if doubt didn't even exist anymore. But that was last week. And then the beginning of this week, the beginning of this week, ooh, ain't that how third dimensional living experience, even fifth dimensional living experience? Because, beloveds, all of this is definitely in 3D. Definitely in 3D. 3D, the world of judgment, right? The world of doubt, right? That's all we do is we judge ourselves and we judge others and all the red tape and all the he says, she said, us versus them, me against you, blah, blah, blah. Like it's all judgment in 3D. That's the density. That's why it's so dense. It's also in five. It's in the fifth dimensional. But the fifth dimensional does end up being a bit more personal, right? It does. It ends up being more personal because we're practicing compassion for self and others. Now in the seventh, that's when we lay down the judgment. We lay down the doubt. We lay down the fears that present themselves, and we just witness them, right? We don't allow them to derail us, right? To distract us. Fifth dimension has a lot of distraction, beloveds. A lot of distraction in a beautiful, great way. Like, ooh, look at all this shiny, great stuff, all these new, beautiful experiences. Still, oftentimes, distraction. And also all the scary stuff, very personal stuff, right? Very personal in the fifth. So it's all there. Um, so at the beginning of this week, so just a few days ago, coming out of like, yes, I found my reason, squash that doubt, let's charge forward. Uh, I put a post out there on social media, and none of you probably even saw it. And it was a lovely post about my husband and I's anniversary this week. Da da da. Uh, Good story to emphasize manifestation, what have you. Well, in it, there were a few characters in it, but one of the characters was like my first boyfriend in high school because it went with the story, back from 97 to da da da, chronologically. And his sister reached out to me and was like, "I don't remember any of this." Okay. You don't have to, right? But the reason she reached out is because at one part of the story, she was in it. Like she was the one that confirmed something to my husband. And I said, "Do you not remember doing that?" And she said, "Oh, well, I probably just did that, to just go with the flow of things." So I'm going to pause right here, beloveds. The two best words in any language is yes and no. Yes and no. It's great. They are the best words. Hands down, best words. Everybody thinks it's love. That's an action, that's a feeling, that's the words, yes and no are so wonderful. Keep saying yes to yourself. Say yes to yourself as often as you possibly can. Yes, yes to yourself. Say yes to life. Say yes to any experience that comes your way. Say yes. I was just talking with a friend the other day, and I kept saying, "Just kiss the girl. Just kiss the girl. Just say yes." Right? No. It's my second favorite. It's the best. I use it all the time, because then there is no backlash that will ever pop up. I am very firm in my stance. And that goes from, if somebody comes up to you and starts talking about, do you want to do this? Instead of saying, yeah, sure, maybe, tell them no. Tell them no, because they're going to call you that day thinking you said yes. Say no. It's very easy to say no. And I witness it so often. And beloveds, I even witness it, people laughing at me when I do it. And because it catches them so off guard. I was around a group of people on Saturday, and somebody said something, I just went, "No." And everybody kind of just giggled and laughed like, "Holy shit." She just I didn't even have to explain. "No, not doing that. No, not happening. No." Therefore, I'm choosing myself. I'm choosing what I wanna do, I'm choosing how I wanna communicate. If you live too far away from me and you're inviting me over and I don't wanna go, no, not happening. All of that, beloveds, yes to you, yes to life, yes, 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 yes. But if it's something that's not for you, something that you don't want to do, something that you don't even wanna listen to, no, no, it's very clear. It's not wishy-washy. It's not you actually don't hurt anyone's feelings. The only thing that happens is they're shocked. They're shocked because for some reason being assertive like that has been washed out. But no is not an offensive word. Especially if you start using it, you'd be demonstrating to others how much you love and appreciate yourself. Your time with yourself, your other plans, whatever it may be. So I'm putting that in there because this is all going to be about communication. And moving forward, beloveds, I really sincerely say, invite you to say yes to yourself. And please just start saying no. Say no. It's very easy. So anyway, but it does shock people, folks. So get ready for that shock. And then I'm always shocked that they're shocked as if they don't ever hear anybody say the word. And I think it's just because I'm very abrupt with it. Like, halfway through somebody talking, I'll just say no. Like, just I don't even need to listen. I'm just not doing it. You don't have to tell me all the details. No. So you might wanna be not as abrupt with it. You can maybe not. But that's me. I'm a very assertive person. I'm assertive, I'm direct, right? So, I'm going back and forth with his sister through, like, DMs or whatever, and she kept not reading what I was saying, like, what I was writing. She kept coming back of saying, "That was all in '98, not in '97, not in," and I kept saying, "Your brother and I had an entire relationship before you even knew me," and which was true. Once again, I'm a very private person, and so this is gonna go into how humans communicate, and I am going now back, like, 30 years. And I was a very different person 30 years ago. I was even a different person up to this past 2 years when I am conscious awareness accelerated. So even the Courtney of 2 years ago, very different. And it is in a lot of ways based on listening and communicating. That's why you don't see me as often here on my channel. So I kept being confused 'cause I didn't know why she was confused. I mean, it was just a lot of confusion. But because of this, I went back and I was rewinding the tape, right, 30 years ago of that particular relationship. And beloveds, I don't go back. I've I barely ever go back into the past. It's not who I am. You can't rewrite it. You can't redo it. You can't hope for things to have changed. You can't do like I might occasionally, if it was hardcore trauma, like go and send good positive energy to that just because I know it's going to filter through and so I can be here with you now. But for the most part, no, I don't go back. I don't go backwards. I'm constantly forward, right? Forward, forward, forward. So it's very odd for me to go back. And then once I did go back, I kind of got stuck there for a minute. And the Scorpio really took in how much that relationship shaped a lot of my life. And I never even acknowledged it that way. Not at all. And I was a very, very different person. Um, uh, I'll say that I'm assertive now. I was take assertiveness and mix it with a whole bunch of anger and drunkenness and horrible things, right? So at that time in my life, so growing up, tons of high school, even a bit of post high school, I never saw this world as, I don't know, real, but in a very unhealthy way. I never saw you were real, I was real, none of this mattered. You just do what you want, have fun, be crazy. I never took like human emotions into account. I never took consequences into account. I never took any of that stuff into account. I just never did. Um, and by the time I had to, like I really had to look at that, I struggled with it very, very difficult. It was very difficult for me to acknowledge, like, what do you do? What are you telling me? This world is real? What I do affects others? Like, I struggled with that for at least a year, but I was able to get to some kind of resolve, enough to start the healing process. And that, beloveds, was 20 years ago. So, very different person. As I was young, it was all about, get them before they get you. Check off your list no matter what it takes, you know, just get it done. Uh, and so one of the things, as I was struggling to even get through high school, was, oh, I gotta do that boyfriend thing. I gotta do that thing that people do. And I struggled with even wanting to do that for a long time because I wasn't interested. For me, it was money and drugs. Money and drugs, like, that's what it was for me. Um, but then I realized, "Oh, I gotta do some of these social noise, blah, blah, blah," asking me stupid questions, that kind of thing. So I figured, "Okay, I gotta get that done. I gotta get a boyfriend, I gotta sleep with that guy, case closed, it's done. Check, right? Off the list. Took care of it, it's done." That is how I operated. So, this beautiful being, I watched him for a while, and I went, "Yeah, that's my target." And that's how I thought of people. That's how I thought of people, places, and things. That's my target. Where you're inconsequential. Like, that's really how I ran my life. And so, he was a target, and he was everything I wasn't. And that's probably why he looked like a great target for that purpose, right? If I'm gonna lose my virginity to you, I'm gonna have some kind of connection with someone, I want them to be a good person. I didn't want them to be like me, I wanted them to be a good person, right? Uh, so I started talking to him, right? We started talking for like a year. And this is gonna be the communication aspect of this, because I think people are still communicating this way. We often hear that we think no one's listening because they're busy trying to figure out and listen to come up with their response. They're not even listening to you, they're just waiting to respond, or they're thinking about their response. I don't think that's I think that's too generic. I think that's too low of an answer. I think what we do, all of us humans, and it's ingrained in us, and there's nothing wrong with it. I think what we're actually doing is when we're listening, truly listening, because this whole thing is about listening, when we're truly listening, we're trying to find and locate all those little cues, context cues, cues that we can relate to and identify within. So then we can maybe share. So we can learn and grow. And that is how humans, societies, our own brains, all of it, we all learn, grow, heal, ascend, what have you, through communication. All magic is communication. All science is communication. All is communication. But we are wired to kind of look for those cues. Oh, they said this. I can relate to that. Oh, they said that. I can relate to that. And usually we find something. And if we can't relate, we can then go back into our feelings and be like, oh, they feel this way. I know when I felt that way. And then we try to share or we try to give some advice, even if it's wanted or not, right? This is what humans do. And that's what we're doing. It's not that we're trying to figure out what we're going to say. We're looking for those cues. How can I relate to one another? How can I share within this? How can I help? How can they help me? How can blah, 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 blah? How can we learn? How can we grow? It's how it's always been. So I sincerely don't think people are just sitting around thinking about what they want to say in rebuttal or they want to talk more than anybody else. That's what we're really doing. And because we can't speak for the other person, we then start speaking for ourselves. Same as when she DM'd me, I'm thinking we got very confused because I'm thinking, how are you telling me I'm wrong with my life? How are you telling me I'm wrong with my own memories? Right? Well, because for her, she didn't know anything about that. So I got my target. I started talking to him, and oh, that he was a good person. He was a good person, and unfortunately, I won't get into how it very much ended like a year and a half, 2 years later, because that was brutal and horrible, and it went bad really fast, and this is why, because of communication. So, for damn near a year, very much, I mean, it was pretty much a year, we hung out in, like, secrecy, you're teenagers, so you don't really want anybody to know what you're doing. We used to hang out at this guy's house that nobody else hung out at, so, we were basically using him to have alone time, that kind of thing. And all through that, this beloved guy, he he would talk about the future. He was talking about the future, he was talking about this, he was talking about that, like lots of communication. And it was all based around making this the long haul, making our relationship, marriage after high school, long haul. Okay, so we got one person's objective. One person's target is apparently marriage right after high school. The other person who's like, I just wanted to check this box off. I am definitely not thinking about marriage. To that person, myself, completely illogical. Completely illogical. I had never seen it done, not successfully. I mean, it's not what you do. You don't marry your high school sweetheart. That's it was so foreign to me. So, you have 2 people now in the world of duality. right? In the world of duality, I mean, he was even talking about not having sex until after marriage, and it was like, "Whoa." I'll never check that box off, you know? Um, 2 people in the very world of duality trying to come together in the middle. And so by the end of I mean, this went on for a long time. I mean, for me, I was kinda okay with it for quite a while because we weren't really actually dating. I was kinda okay with it for quite a while because I was working full time, I was still partying with, like, 2 or 3 different groups of people. So, like, I figured, if it takes a while to woo this one over, that's fine, but I'll just keep steady, keep steady." So, it wasn't like this was we're hanging out every night. This is okay. And I interpret it as that. I'm out living life, I'm doing whatever the hell I want, I'm making my money, I'm living, right? He interpreted it as we're going real slow. We're getting to know each other. We're falling in love. That which is beautiful. I shouldn't say it that way, but that's how he interpreted it. Once again, people, 2 people, completely opposite sides of viewpoints, um, goals, targets, aspirations. And so when he would talk about that sort of thing, marriage, right out of high school, it still blows my mind because I'm like, whoa, what? For those that don't know, I didn't even bother to think about marriage until I was like 26 or so. Like I didn't even bother, and tomorrow is our 16-year anniversary of marriage. I just didn't even think about it. I was living life. Um, so when he would bring that up though, and this gets into the communication, and I think you guys can all see where I'm headed with this. When he would start talking that way, I would express myself of like, "Whoa, no, that's not, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that." But then over time, it would shift to me. I would say, "You know what, Adam, if we actually started dating in the present, you never know where it goes. Who knows the future, right?" And then it would shift into, "Who knows?" Because in my mind, I thought if we actually really made the commitment and started dating and did the deed and got it done and over with, he too would realize this is just a high school fling. This is just a high school thing because that's what people do. Or he would get tired of my ass. To tell you the truth, that's really what I thought because I was so the opposite of him. He was beautiful. He was healthy, straight edge, skater. He was beautiful. He was such a great kid. The other hand, was the opposite. He was A's and B's in school. I mean, he was a good kid. I was the opposite. I was never there at school. I didn't really fail, but because of attendance, I would fail or whatnot. I did a lot of drugs. I drank all the time. I wasn't, I was the opposite. So the further we're going on with this year of just trying, in my mind, just let's start it opposed to thinking about what's going to happen in the future, right? Let's live in the now. Let's just get it done. And he just kept wanting to go very slow, very slow, very slow. Well, towards and we're not even at the dating yet. So that's how I always communicate because I always would think, and this is when it falls into, damn, I should have just kept saying no. But we tend to not do that, do we? And we tend to try to compromise, which compromise means both parties are not fully being fulfilled. We're trying to meet in the middle when we are so vastly two separate different people. So I just started going along with the program to get to my end result, knowing that that's how I would end this. All the while, not really understanding, like I said, lots of emotions were at play because they weren't for me. They weren't for me, unfortunately. So fast forward to we finally do start dating. And that didn't happen until I had to meet that sister. So she didn't even know about this past, right? Who was like, "This didn't happen then, this didn't happen then." And I'm like, "Oh my god, I know my own past." Um, he started laying down, he didn't want me smoking. He didn't want me drinking. I had to meet his sister. He wanted me to start going to school, be present in high school type thing because he didn't wanna date a girl that had that reputation. He definitely hated the smoking. Definitely, he didn't even wanna, because he couldn't stand the smell, blah, blah, blah. He wanted us to start eating healthy and working out together. I had to get the clearance from the sister. I mean, there were so many things. And that's where I hit the no. That's when I really truly was like, "No, you can take" other than me having to go to school because 'cause they're already fixing to kick me out if I don't start going to school, so that's not really a demand by you. Your sister, fine, whatever, I understand that, I'll do that. Every other thing, I went, "Nope, that's off the table. That's off the table. You do you. That's off the table," because I kept thinking, "This is not marriage. This is not long term. This is not." And he kept saying, "Well, you'll get there. Work towards quitting smoking, work towards stop drinking, work towards this stuff. And we got time because what is forever? Like we have enough time because this is going to be forever." I would completely dismiss that he said that. It wouldn't even register in my brain that he would say that. And I'm sure when I would say no, no, take it off the table. That's not happening. That's definitely not happening. He, in his mind, turned it into, "Oh, one day she'll change. One day she's gonna change and we're gonna get healthy and we'll both be able to get married and go to school and blah, blah, blah." I'm sure that's what he was doing in his mind. See, remember going back to when people are talking and we're looking for those little cues. Those little cues of how do we identify ourselves within that person? How do we identify ourselves within that person? Mirror to mirror. Those little cues in conversation and communication. Well, our own minds can create such interesting world of play, can't they? So in my mind, I kept shifting what he was saying into, you know, he'll eventually see that this is just high school. He, in his mind, kept shifting it into, she will eventually want to live healthy. She will eventually want to experience life differently and not be so negative because I was very also negative. That's what our minds will do. Hence, beloveds, all the red flags that we miss, all those red flags that we miss, and they're not even red flags necessarily. Let's say maroon flags that we miss because it's two people on completely opposite sides that are trying to meet in the middle, that are really trying. But eventually, the communication shifts so much that no one's listening. No one's listening. I receded into a lot of things, as in conceded to a lot of things that I probably wouldn't have. And then there were ones that I was very strong about. No. And then those ones that I was not going to allow to be taken off the table, he started doing because he wanted to share. He thought we were supposed to be one. So he started smoking. He started doing drugs. And like I said, beloveds, the end result was devastating. Devastating. Because he was trying to come to me where I was at, meet in the middle. When all the while, for a year or more, two, long time, 18 months, we were not listening to one another. I was not taking what he was saying as serious, like he actually means this. I thought he was just, you know, ridiculous and then it would change. And he wasn't listening to me. He wasn't. When I said, "No, I'm not looking at marriage. We should never even been dating. We should never have been together. We should have both went our separate ways." And I'm sure life would have been very different for both of us. So I'm witnessing that all over the place. I'm witnessing that people are still communicating that way. We're all still trying to meet in the middle, oppose choosing ourself, loving ourself entirely to go, "No, this is what I want. This is what I'm gonna go do. This is who I am." If you're not a part of it, that's fine. That's okay. Go be with and do whatever you would like. And I'm bringing this up, beloveds, because this is when you lay down judgment. The judgment is present when you're both trying to come into the middle and want the same thing, especially if it's at vastly different sides. If it's at vastly different sides, you're probably not going to come to the middle and it not implode or blow up. And it's fine to be where whoever you are, wherever you are, however you are, saying yes to yourself and no to the things that are not of you. Same with everybody else. This is when we really can truly lay down the judgment if we can acknowledge and truly listen to what the other people are saying because they're telling you. People are actually always saying it. They're always saying it. Everybody does this thing about like, they say, well, they'll show you with their actions. That's true. But they probably have also been saying the same damn thing for the past 3 months. And now their actions are there to show you. I mean, there's never been a time that uh they hadn't told me for months and months, including myself. There's never been a time I hadn't said it for months and months until the action had to be there for it to click. Going back to when I said I cut off a 30-year relationship with my best friend. She was literally my best friend. She was the bridesmaid at my wedding, the only bridesmaid. Since ride and die since the 8th grade. I went no contact. And what is this? What is this? We never saw this coming. We never saw this coming. We never saw this coming. I had literally been saying it for 4 years. For 4 years. And it was that hard of a decision. It was that hard for me to make that stance. It was that hard for me to say yes to myself and also actually yes to her. Because we had met at such a young age. It was still a very sick relationship. It was a sick friendship. And I'm haven't been sick in a long time, but she wasn't listening. She wasn't listening to how I was no longer sick. And that's okay. That's okay. She didn't necessarily do anything wrong. I didn't do anything wrong. And there's going to be a lot of that in the future. There's going to be a lot of people going, "What? What are you saying? What do you believe? What are you thinking? You're gonna go over here now? You're gonna do that now?" So take all this into consideration. Take all of this in consideration of everything I've said, from walking into the wilderness of doubt and how it is best to find the seat of your reason to override, outweigh the doubt, into there's been numerous nonstop with me for the past 2 years. People either dismissing what I'm saying and just, ha, okay, Courtney, as if I'm not going to do as I say I'm going to do, or dismissing it in, well, that never happened. That never happened, as if they lived in my life. Now, hold this all in your thoughts right now, right? Wilderness, doubt, being dismissed in various ways because they are now understanding they don't know you because you didn't share, or they're shocked by what you're going to do or what you did do. Hmm. Or they don't think you have any integrity and you're going to do what you say you're going to do, especially because you just walked out of the wilderness. Into, we are looking for those identifying markers, those little those little nuggets when we're in communication with another, those little cues of how how do I identify with this person? I am as you are. You are as I am. And oftentimes it does go back into emotion because human emotion is the same. Circumstances, situations, stories, characters, all of that can be very different, but the human emotion is the same across the board. So think of that. And then think about how we don't actually listen. We're not really listening. And it's not so much that we have an agenda, because you might not. So the one with my boyfriend and I, that was a pretty extreme case, right? That was a pretty far, you are on very opposite sides. But it doesn't have to be that extreme. But we tend to not actually listen. We tend to, and what I mean by that is because instead of trying to figure out how what we're going to respond with, we're actually looking for those cues. How can I relate? We're looking for those cues. How can I relate? Which that is not going to change. That is not going to change. But this is what I invite us to do because I'm fixing to talk about the future here in a minute. This is what I invite us to do. Internally, we can, as an observer, as a participant, as a witness, as a living present being with this other person in compassion, all of it. We can take in everything they're saying. We can hear it. We can even look for all those cues because that's not going to change. We can share if it seems appropriate. We can offer to share. Ask them. At the same time, though, if we can't find any of those identifying cues, that is also okay. It's not going to change, and that's how we operate is not necessarily going to change in this. But being able to find those cues is going to become difficult. Being able to find ourselves, right, is going to become a bit more difficult and a bit more difficult and a bit more difficult. And that is beautiful because the more everyone starts to be more of their authentic self and say yes to themselves, and the grand awareness, as I was talking about, that is pouring in, is entering into all the beings, the grand awareness, the things we do, the things we say, the things we create, the things, all of it, our relationships, all of it is going to be so very different and brand new, because we've never been here before. We've never been here before. So if you are here at Stars of Morning Light, the words that come out of my mouth, you might not understand. And I'm not saying in this episode, I'm saying in other episodes. You might not understand, and that's okay. You don't have to fully understand. You don't have to fully get all of those cues, right? You don't have to share in the same kind of stories. You were probably definitely not the same kind of high school kid as I was, right? Like, you don't have to share in all the sequencing of anybody else's life. And I'm offering this because it's not gonna be as present as it was before. We usually build relationships off of what we share, right? Our common ground, what our interests are. That's all gonna start shifting. So family dynamics are gonna get, hmm, interesting, especially when you start saying something crazy at the dinner table. Hmm. And that they cannot relate to whatsoever. And we think this is happening now in the past, 15 years, 12 years, whatever. No, I'm beloveds, I'm really telling, not just bring it up a notch, bring it way up because of the awareness. Because of the awareness. At the same time, you're gonna find people that your middle ground, beautiful. It will not blow up. It's beautiful. It's great. Find them. All of those that may be around you, coworkers, family members, friends, loved ones, partners, kids, blah, 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 blah. All the humans in your sphere. We don't have to try to defend ourselves. We don't have to explain ourselves. And we don't have to have them do that with us either. They don't have to explain themselves. They don't have to, you don't even have to accept all of what they're saying. You just have to accept they're saying it. And that is actually listening. That is the essence of listening. Not having to defend, explain, uh, really even share any of your cues. That's the essence of listening. Just being present. Just present. So in the future, in this whole new world, if by chance you are realizing, wow, we are complete opposites, complete opposites, listen, and don't listen within your scope. I apologize. I really wanted to put that I wanted to sandwich that in before. Like my boyfriend and I was listening from my scope. I was listening to him, but I didn't really believe any of it because in my scope, no one gets married out of high school. That was my truth. I lived it, and yeah, that was not a thing, like, at all in my scope. So and definitely not successful. And I would bring that up to him even. I would say, "Why would we get married? To what, get divorced? Like, why would we do that? That costs money." Sorry. I'm being cute. But every time I would listen to him, it was in my own scope, my own perception of things. Same with him. In his own perception of things, "Oh, she's completely gonna wanna be healthy. She's very intelligent. Why is she not going to school?" Like, she could get straight A's, I hated those conversations. We were not listening because we were inside our own perception. And that is the one thing So I'm bringing you back to what I was talking about. It's okay whatever they're saying. It's okay whatever they're thinking. Same with you. It's okay whatever you're saying. It's okay whatever you're thinking. It's okay whatever you're doing, especially if you're choosing yourself. Especially if you're choosing yourself. But when we're listening to another, I invite everyone to lay down their perception. Lay down their perception because we're entering into a whole new world of new perception, even for yourself. Like I said, who I was even 2 years ago is definitely not who I am now. I am conscious awareness accelerated. And I was just a very small part of that. So let's lay down our perceptions while we're listening. We're still going to be looking for those cues. That is so ingrained in us. It's the hardwiring. But we can look for cues while also laying down our perception. It's not the same thing. Not the same thing. Perception perception gives you your feeling of the meaning of things. That is very much a frontal lobe aspect. It's the feeling of the meaning of things. It's not just what you see, it's how you think and feel about it. I'm not that's what I'm inviting everyone to do. So as others speak, as others move about in this world, we can lay down our perception as to how we think things should be, how we are don't think things should be, what have you, and just purely listen. Like I said, we're going to still try to look for those cues because that's how we learn. And we always are learning. Learning is learning. To me, it's not karma. That was done and ended with 20 years ago. Actually, I'm going to end this with this. I was with my teacher last night, and she said, and because it's a whole new series of courses and classes, and I was with her, and in one of them, because I have my notes right here from that class, she said, "Love is about learning. Through love, we remember ourselves." And that is what I've been saying for years, that everything in the third dimensional living experience, all the soul contracts that people, have, all the quote unquote karma that people think they have, that they refer to as lessons and learning. It is a representation, it is a declaration, it is the construction of this third dimensional and fifth dimensional living experience. It is designed for you to choose yourself, for you to love yourself. Love yourself entirely. Stand in your authenticity. Be who you are, regardless if the stuff that's coming out of your mouth sounds batshit crazy to other people, regardless if no one's understanding you anymore, and vice versa. Vice versa. Love is for the learning, and it is through that love that we remember who we are. So, and that's great, wonderful, beautiful, the best of loves. And that's also the hardest of loves, the heart-wrenching of loves, the heart-wrenching of that very long relationship in high school. Very heart-wrenching, over and over and over again on both sides. But it's because we weren't listening. We weren't really understanding one another, that I was not gonna budge, he was not gonna budge. And then we both started trying to budge to finally get there, and it destroyed both of us. We don't have to do that. We don't have to do that. We can lay down our perception of things while we're listening to others. We will still look for the cues because that's healthy. We might learn something new. It's how we've always grown in society, always grown as an individual. The love is there for learning. And love is the thread that is within all of creation. It is everywhere. And that's why we have so much passion. That's why our passion might get in the way of listening to one another. Through love, we remember ourselves. So, that was a long, long explanation, dialogue to bring you from the wilderness of doubt. Find your reason, your ideal, as Edgar Casey would say, that can override any doubt, into the complexities of how we communicate. From please start saying yes to yourself and yes to all the great experiences and just kiss the girl, do it all, do it all, do it all. And then say no for what is not for you. Say no so it doesn't backlash, so you don't get stuck doing something you definitely don't want to do. Just say no. Even if it shocks others, get real comfortable with that word. It's a beautiful word. There's nothing wrong with the word. I don't know why it got such a bad rap. To the complexities of the human dialogue, especially when it's strong connections. They might dismiss everything you say. They might just laugh and go, "Ah, okay," when you mean everything you say and you're gonna do what you say. They might use their own perception and keep trying to push their perception on you. All of that. That is human complexities within dialogue. And if we lay a lot of that down and sincerely listen, even if we're still looking for the cues of understanding and connection and learning, but we lay it all down and just accept, okay, cool. That's what you're doing. You do that. I'm going to go do me. That's going to work out so much better in the future when everything is brand new. Our thoughts, our habits, our patterns, our creations, our dialect, our relationships, our friendships, all our work, all our bodies. Our bodies are going to be new. Everything will be so new and fresh. Let's not continue to still do the same patterns over and over again. So that was the weeks of mine, the past couple of weeks. And I did. I went down deep, went into the wilderness. I reviewed that relationship and it was difficult because it was difficult. I loved that kid. He was great. We were great. We were actually great, even though we were the most opposite, but um the opposites, you know, and destroyed both of us in the end. So um but it was because we weren't listening. So I thank you all for listening. Have a great time. Have a good weekend. A new Matrix Living episode comes out the spring equinox, March 21st. Check that out. And I do love you guys. Love is the learning here, the painful love, the great love, all the love. And say thank you to all of it. It's awesome. It's great here. It's great. And we all have infinite potentialities and opportunities to say yes and to say no. So I love you guys. Cheers. Peace.